All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here, of course, for
Devil is a Part-Timer, Episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of a goofy slice of life thing on our hands.
We do. There was an attack, but now it's like, okay, well, can I stay with you? I don't want to be attacked at my place.
Right,
makes sense.
Right. I think that was a temporary a bit for her.
Yes, but
for Yusa.
I could
Yusa.
see it being something that goes the length.
Yeah. Well, we can tell that they're trying to push some kind of, kind of goofy
something, a romance at the very
kind
least,
of
if
thing.
not some sort of romance thing.
Yeah, I think that this is just going to show that the tsundere aspects of Yusa is going to reject Mao's or Satan's, kind of dual nature, where he's going to funny, but where he's going to be doing semi-good things because he doesn't have the power to do evil things.
And they'll just realize, okay, they're in this together.
Right.
Might as well learn to live with each other.
Absolutely. But then you have the other characters, Chi-chan and Alciel. Asher. Something like that. But I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
No.
And I like his character in particular the most.
Great.
Because he's so loyal, fiercely to Mao or, dark evil overlord Satan himself.
He's just so overly serious in all the best ways.
Yes. And shows like this need a character like him in order to fulfill that aspect of the comedy.
Yes.
So I appreciate it 100%.
I do too.
Also, I really feel like this show can blend little aspects of linear story into the episodic nature by having there be, like we theorized, in the previous episode, some kind of interference from those that didn't cross through the portal.
Right.
And these earthquake/attacks are maybe them
people
either
trying to make their way across,
or actually making their way across.
Right, exactly.
And that's where it can get a little bit dicey.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so without further ado, let's get into this episode and see what happens.
床に鍵が落ちてるのはどういう
Why are the keys on the floor?
多分出る前に窓を開けといて玄関の鍵を閉めてから投げ入れたんだな。さすがは勇者。貧困法制なことで。お前だったらどうするんだ。
That's hilarious.
決まっています。
Oh.
鍵をかけてそのまま鍵を持ち帰ります。
So evil.
Make a copy of it and then return it.
あくまでそんなにか。
遊びや空想じゃないんです。本当に地震が起こりそうなんです。もし平気だったら直接会って相談乗ってもらえませんか？
Interesting.
Talking to someone she's never met?
いや。
わかった。明日の夕方でいいか？
あんたも気をつけなさいよ。
何が？何のこと？
近所でいろいろ物騒だから。
そっちか。
そっちってどっち？
Nothing. No.
さあ、お昼どうする？今日こそこの間言ってたカレー。
Yes!
She wants to be friends! Yes! Come on!
ごめん、今日これしかないの。財布を落としちゃって。
さ、もはや完全に日本に溶け込んだようだね。勇者
どちら様でしょうか？
勇者と魔王の知るものだよ。そして
お前たちを共に
distorting their voice?
Yeah.
この闇の底から轟くような癒しい響き。魔のものだ。
No, actually,
ア
I
ルシェ
think
ル以
that
外に生き残りの四天王はい
he's
な
going
か
to be
っ
a
た
power
はず。
player on the good side.
あなたは魔界のどちら様？
Wanting to vanquish all evil wherever it may be.
エンテイスラの意志などと言って私を動揺させるつもりでしょうが、私は魔界の声などに耳を傾けない。
Your call may be recorded for
いろんな
quality
人が
assurance purposes.
That's true!
先にお昼済ませちゃおう。どうせこの時間銀行混んでるし。
Hey, cool. Are they going to have lunch finally?
もしもし。
もしもし、こちらはユサエミさんの携帯電話でしょうか？
はい、そうですが。
私は代々木警察署のものですが。
Oh.
は？
まさか自転車からうちを割り出すとはな。やるな日本の警察。しかし予想通りでしたね。勇者が年齢をサバ読んでた。実年齢は確か17、8くらいだったはず。
どうでもいいわよ、そんなこと。なんで勇者たる私が魔王一派の見回りの責任にならなきゃいけないのよ。
Man, this lady's a
仕方ない
nut.
だろ。
Can you like take her
他
to
に
the
は
Yeah,
わからなかっ
please?
たんだから。 こちらだって本当はこんなことで貴様を頼りたくはなかった。落ち着けエミリア。勇者ともあろうものが情けない。
あなたに言われたかないわ、アルシエル。あのすっからかんの冷蔵庫、もうちょっと計画的に買い物しなさいよ。魔王軍一の事象が聞いて呆れるわ。
Oh, shots fired!
私のせいじゃ。私のせいじゃない。
It's like I don't have any money.
I love how she's insulting him over the contents of their refrigerator.
Right, and it's actually got to
And it
him.
actually got to him,
あ
yeah.
なたも同様よ。
He's like, I failed.
だって。
警告はしたわ。
しっかりしろ。
It's about talking about the
この
fridge.
後ちーちゃんと約束があるんだから。
Aww.
She's like, what do I wear?
Aww. Ha! We need to get you nice clothes. Oh my gosh.
ふむ、これはなかなか。
Yeah, it's okay.
こんな服買う金どこにあったんだよ。このような一大事の時のためにへそくりくらいの用意し
Emergencies such as
一
this.
大事ってな、約束って言ってもお茶して話聞いてさよならだぞ。別にこんな。何をおっしゃいます。
Oh
そ
my
れ
gosh.
全身ユニシロのままデートに行かせるわけにはいきません。お前
Since when did you start getting fashion sense? Oh my gosh.
おう、似合ってるじゃん。
マーさんもユニシロばっかり着てるのかと思いましたけど。
え？
いやユニシロが悪いんじゃないですよ。ユニシロもいいんですけどね。今日はいつもよりかっこいい。
Clearly, Ashiya has
Right.
fully
どうかのやつが
integrated
デー
into
ト
this
にユニシロ
world.
はなしって言うから。
デートだと思ってくれてるんですか？
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
な、
繋いでいいですか？
そんなことか。いいよ別に。
He's doing it the wrong way, but it's still cute to her.
いえ、なんでもないです。
Oh wait. He's stalking
Because it
them.
wouldn't be an anime date without the friend.
本名で呼ばないで。というか今のあなた、あからさまに怪しいわよ。
Extremely suspicious.
誰か尾行でもしてるの？
貴様には関係
Security
あるまい。
purposes.
勇者たる私があなたたちの怪しい行動を見つけて放置しておくと思う？
思わんが。
Participating in
ここは
about
私
10
の顔に
seconds.
免じて。
あなたの悪魔時代の顔知ってる私に何を免じろっての？
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
王様申し訳ござ
My
いません。
lord, please forgive me.
そういうわけね。
Being mean to me.
He's kneeling.
私
Yeah,
の
he's
宿
like,
敵が非常
please
に情けない
understand.
状態に陥ってることだけは分かったわ。
Yes, of
でも
course.
なんでデートする必要があるの？
私もそう思った。
I've been wondering the same thing.
だが様子を見るに、あの佐々木という少女は魔王様に少なからず好意を抱いているらしい。人間の少女ごときが魔王様に連呼するなど、不遜も甚だしい。
Dare to have
私が思う
feelings for the mighty Dark Lord.
私は逆に
Yeah.
なんであんな可愛い子が魔王ごとき解消なしにって思
Well,
うけど
she
ね。
doesn't see a
魔
foul
王様
demon
を
for
侮辱
one.
するか。
How dare
勇
you?
者です。
No, that's a compliment.
とにかくあれ見てあの状況がわからない女はいないわよ。素材で初夏の爽やかさを出してフィット感でボディーラインを強調する。大きいわね。
何か。
なんでもないわよ。大きかったら戦いで役立つことなんかないし、小さい方が鎧の板金とかも安く作れるし、動くの邪魔じゃない
This
し。
is true. This is
何の
true.
話だ。
なんでもないわよ。
で、詳しい話をもう一度聞きたいん
Okay,
だけど。
here we go. Here we
あ、
go.
はい。
What?
She's being contacted from the other side.
No way.
聞こえてますよ。何なの？
Holy
Okay.
crap.
So she's gonna be contacted to like try and kill him.
聞いたことない言葉なのに意味もわかるし、
Oh, and she
わ
understood
けがわ
it.
かんなくて。
Yeah.
これは思ったよりも早くことが起こりそう。なぜだ。なぜエミが芦屋と一緒にこの店に入ってくる。
This is gonna be classic with them doing all this stuff in the
何
background.
も悪いことはしていない
And。they're gonna look like a couple, you know?
Exactly, and he
Gomen.
needs to like keep her attention
Yep,
turned this
exactly.
じい
way.
ちゃんの話を総合すると、耳鳴りや変な声はさほど問題じゃない。肝心なのは本当にでかいのが起こるか否かだ。
And he's trying to communicate with them at the same time.
注意を促せるだけでもだいぶ違うと思うよ。
友達にも親にも誰にも言えなくて。
Yeah, you had a weird voice speak to you
Exactly.
telepathically. That makes
信じてくれ
sense.
るかもって思って。
Oh.
真央さん、その
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
真央さんが
やめなさい。
Oh my god.
この男に関わるとろくなことにならないわ。
エミ
She's gonna think
Oh, no,
she's her
like an
ex. She's his
ex,
ex, yeah.
本性は狡猾。
Oh my god.
いきなり出てきてひどいこと言わないでください。
Yes, yes.
ほんでも
You go, cheese. She said.
私はこの男の
I'm
敵
insanity.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないわ。
じいちゃんもちょっと落ち着いて。
真央さんは黙っててください。
Oh.
思い出した。お姉さんこの前うちの店に来ましたよね。
She's gonna deduce.
それが何？
Yes. Yes.
本当
Yes.
ですか？何を言い出すの？やっぱりそうなんですね。
I knew it.
私が真央さんにどうアプローチしようか。今さらお姉さんには関係ないじゃないですか。バカなこと
She's holding her own against the mighty
That's right. I
hero.
didn't expect her to have so much like.
Like
じゃあ
spunk
なんでいつも
backbone,
真央
yeah.
さんの近くをうろうろしてるんですか？
だから二人とも落ち着いて。
And
Here's the big one.
Yep.
Whoa. Holy crap.
どう
Okay.
なったの？
よかった。気がついたのね。
あなたは
That's
参っ
unexpected.
たわね。
Yeah.
完全に閉じ込められたわ。
Oh, this is gonna be where all four of them will
真央
bond.
さん
Right.
は。
Exactly.
Yeah.
少なくとも私たちのそばにはいないわ。
いえ、そうじゃなくて。
ああ、瓦礫に潰されちゃったんじゃないかってこと？
That's right.
Yes.
そうですよね。きっと無事ですよね。
ええ、きっと無事よ。ユサエミよ。言っておくけど、魔王とは本当に何でもないんだからね。
佐々木千穂です。今はそういうことにしておきます。
For now.
で、
Until I can figure
魔
out
王
what the
に
words
ど
in my
こが
head
気に入っ
mean.
たの？
Right.
何を言ってるんですか？
魔王のことが好きだから私に突っかかってきたんでしょ？
Yeah, of course.
好きって私、そんな、
Oh. Yeah.
そんな簡単に分かっちゃいますか？
ああ、だから見てれば誰でもわかるわよ。まあ、知り合ってからは随分経つことは確かだけどね。でもあいつを好きになったら辛い思いをするわよ。とにかく、今は少しだ
You
け
can
でもってて。
actually use magic. Whoa, whoa.
I thought.
They all have limited reserves.
I know,
so
so that's
a big deal.
近
Yeah.
くにいるんでしょ？千穂ちゃんは眠らせたわ。
大きなお世話だ。
Wait.
魔王、その姿
Wait,
ど
what?
うしたの？
知らん。なんかこうなっちいちゃんを頼む。ここから出るぞ。意外に被害は小さいみたいだが、悠長に救助を待ってらんないからな。俺がなんとかする。
なんとかする。
His strength?
I guess.
よし。
She wakes up just long enough to see him.
Yep.
どうして
He was like, wow.
どうして魔王が人を助けるのに？
Okay, so
So
they're
the powers are back.
they're sort of bringing the
Sort of.
powers back.
Or-
I don't think
yeah.
that they're going to be permanently back. I think that this is
Sure.
this
Yeah.
is a release of magic determined to
Right.
find them. The magic
Causes
in
stuff
itself
to happen.
causes stuff to happen, but it
Right.
also is a source of magic temporarily.
Right.
So he regained
Yeah.
a little bit of his form.
Right. It'll probably be something where like he can go in between forms, you know, whether it's at his own like will or something that happens externally.
Potentially.
And that's how they can keep the slice of life thing kind of still going.
Well, I think that this is going to be just a fluke thing. I think that the story will build up to
Okay.
when eventually they like tear open a whole new portal, and
Gotcha.
then the powers will be a choice. He can just decide to access the magic that
Okay.
flows through there or not. But
Here's-
for right now, it's just a temporary like you're in danger. Grab onto whatever magic there is in the area and use
Right.
that to keep yourself alive. Otherwise, he would have been crushed.
Sure. Now here's something I could see. Okay.
What's that?
So one of the things that has always sort of stood out to me is in the ending. Well, the ending and the opening, they seem to focus quite a bit on Chi-Chan, in the opening, it's like a sad thing where she's hugging the pillow, and it could be a lovesick thing, but it seems like there could be more to it, potentially.
Possibly,
And with the ending, the whole ending is just a picture of Chi-chan. Now, it could be for the fan service aspect because she's at the beach, right?
Yeah.
But that almost seems more like something that you would do at as a way to remember somebody.
So you think she's possibly gonna die?
Maybe possibly going to die, or the way that she could get hurt could be something where, yes, Emmy was talking about in the emotional sense, but there could also be something where, since she talked about Mao protecting people, it could be something where basically his problems come to haunt him, and because she cares about him, she's close to him, she could end up actually getting hurt. Not necessarily dying.
Possibly.
That could happen, but it could also be something where he has to protect her, you know?
Yeah,
And that could be a way to make Emmy be like, oh no, he's actually not that bad of a guy, because he actually does care about people. You know?
Right. I could see the girl Chi-chan being a less important main character though moving forward, just because I feel like they originally set up no, this is the canon ship. Sorry guys. Emmy, Yusa, and Mao are the ones that will end up together.
I get that. I get the idea that she was introduced as a character later, which implies that she's less important.
Right.
But the fact that all the other characters really have magic or are tied to the magical, and she's the one person who isn't.
Well, no, she now is, technically, because she can understand the language of the Enta-Ila people, which means that she now maybe has latent magic abilities.
That's possible.
And I want to put this out there in the dumb theory area that she'll eventually become like a magical girl of Japan, basically. She's moe, she's cute, she's small, she's got the...
and
she's
just
got
the
kind of the
general
adorable
positivity.
Yes.
Yep.
But she's got spunk, too.
Yes.
And I think that was probably the best thing about her character this episode, was that she had really interesting plot connections to the whole story.
Well, yes.
And then when Emmy Yusa confronted her, oh man,
she actually stood
dished
up for
it
herself.
out and stood up for herself.
Because when I was watching this episode, I'm like, okay, I get that they're setting this up as a premise that, she has a crush on this guy. Right. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I don't really have a lot tying me to that because we haven't seen this character very long or her interactions with Mao for very long.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go with it. But when she stood up to Emmy and she wouldn't let herself be bullied and stuff, I was like, okay, this is a case where they took a character that was set up as an archetype.
Could have been an archetype only.
Well, and setting characters up as archetypes at the beginning can be a very effective thing, so that you are like, okay, this is how I can sort of categorize the character, and then they show you how they're different from that.
Right.
And this seemed to be where they started to do that. And I would say more so than what we've seen so far from Emmy.
Yes, definitely. Emmy has doubled and tripled down on the archetype more and more as time has gone on.
Even though there's that cool complication and conflict of the fact that, okay, this person's the devil, but he seems to be a pretty cool guy.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I think that this will be the question is, what will bring all four of them together?
Right.
And I think it's going to be the external forces coming in from Enta-Ila who are going to be like, okay, let's grab the hero and kill... the Dark Lord.
Exactly.
And she'll be like, well, maybe we can just leave him here. We don't need to kill him.
And then they'll be like, oh, you must
have joined his side. You've been corrupted by the darkness.
Or cursed or whatever. Yeah. And now you must be...
And now it's going to be the squad against, against all the outside forces. And I think that could be fun. Is you have the magical girl who's latent telepathic abilities. You have the hero who's probably the strongest of all of them.
Sure.
You have the Dark Lord, who probably won't be strong until like the very end, and then he'll gain like some crazy powers or something.
Yeah, it's as necessary.
And then LCL is basically like the Sokka, the mom, the
person who
the protectorate.
I get the feeling his job will be like, protect Chi-chan.
No, his job is going to be like protect the Dark Lord, but then he'll kind of be a punching bag for the most of it.
I get the feeling,
but
maybe
also,
not,
but also, I keep wanting to bring this up is that they keep having little reasons for him to doubt Mao or the Dark Lord.
Yes,
and I think that would be cool to have them have their own episode again,
where
they can have their interpersonal conflict again, talking about, hey, are you still the Dark Lord? Do you want to go back to Entaila and take over everything?
Yeah,
and he's
do
like,
I still want to
he's
follow
like,
you?
I don't know, like, maybe, yeah, like if I had the opportunity, but until then, I got to make the most of this.
Right.
Maybe having a human body changed him more than it did the others.
Sure.
And I think that would be interesting, is that maybe it's because he was the most changed by the physical transformation, whereas the others weren't as locked into their original forms as much as Satan was.
or at least it gave him a fresh perspective, because like if you think about it, and this sort of makes me think of like Star Wars, where sometimes it'll be the light side and dark side, and you know, good and evil and all that stuff, but sometimes they'll break it down into just like, oh, these people grew up like over here, so they believe these things, and these people grew up over here, so they believe these things.
Right.
They could, if they, I don't know if they're going to, they probably won't, but they could do something like that, where it's just that, hey, they both, you know, both sides weren't all that different. I mean,
for sure.
Yes, Mao wanted to take over the world, but you know, it's
what you do when you're a Dark Lord. I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
it's a role, man. It's not who I am.
But you know, then they get brought to the human world, and you know, they see how things are different.
Yeah. Also, we potentially were introduced to multiple new characters this episode, and we didn't know it. There's the character who made the threats to Emi-Yusa.
And then there's the voices that
Then there's the voices. That's the point. There were multiple.
Yes.
And I think they're the ones from the opening. In the opening, there's the little girl and the big guy, and they're in kind of a study area. I think they're the ones that are trying to rip a hole. Okay. And someone else made it all the way through already.
Right.
And you know what I think this is?
What?
You know what I think this is? You know how Chi-Chan stood up to Emi-Yusa because she felt like there was a love rival in the mix?
Sure.
What if this is a love rival for Emi-Yusa? This is a guy that was a good guy but fell in love with her, and now sees that she's gotten too chummy with the good guy's side and must think she must be,
she's been corrupted.
She
by
must
the
be
devil.
corrupted. I have to free her from their grasp.
Right. Okay.
So he's targeting her in a way because he thinks she's already controlled by him.
Sure. Yeah. It could be an overzealous paladin type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really see that being a potential thing.
Now, here's something that I would love to see. I would love to see that basically the forces of darkness weren't completely defeated, and that I want to see there be 3 different factions, and I know I talk about this a lot, but yeah, that all go in, and then it's something where the 4 of them are like, oh crap.
So they're external from the 3 factions that enter.
Or the 2 factions that enter, and then they're the third.
There's a third faction? Well, then I think we've already done it. I think that the 2 that are trying to contact are true good. They are part of the Entaila revolution that stood up against the Dark Lord.
Gotcha. And then the person that made the threats is a devil?
The person that made the threats, I think, is also on the good revolution side because the Dark Lord's forces were basically annihilated in the battle.
Right, yeah, because the whole point was that they ran because they couldn't win.
Right. And also, there was someone chasing Emmy when they went to the portal.
Yeah, some sort of mage person or something.
Yeah, but it was a guy.
Was it?
Yeah. And this is where I'm thinking of the theory thing. That's the person that they thought didn't make it through.
Sure, because it's always, it's always the mages and stuff that are able to do the plane shifting portal stuff, not the paladins.
So maybe when Emi-Yusa went through and it closed, it like had a tiny hole, and he basically held it,
kept it open, and
then stretched it just a little bit and went through. But because there was so much of a delay, he didn't come through for like a decent amount of time.
Sure. Yeah,
there's all kinds of wibbly wobbly.
Right. There's all kinds of ways that they could explain that.
But my weird thing is, did this other person that go through retain their hold onto their magic?
Right.
Retain their hold of their magic.
I think so, because they used their magic when they attacked them before, and there's been an influx of magic now, so it might be...
Oh, yeah.
Like, it might be that they're trying to merge the 2. And that's why I think it might be possible that it is... Well, no, I was going to say it's a demon and that they're trying to, like, conquer this new world, but...
Well, here's how they could do it. They could have the portal thing be how this is, 1, an isekai, obviously.
Right.
But 2, it's an isekai where it's going to continually happen. There's going to be, lots of stuff transported into this, our world.
Right.
And it's going to be, 1, magic in the beginning, because maybe he was able to hold it open forever, and there's just this tiny trickle.
And
he's, like, solely the one, like, suckling from it,
Okay.
So they don't really have access to it. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think that there's a way that magic is transporting itself through the world that they're not aware of. That's how those energy blast things shot at them at that night that one time.
Right.
And that actually doubles down on the mage theory thing. Those are kind of arcane blasts of sorts.
They cast magic missile. Yeah.
Yeah, cast magic missile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I don't really have any other theories other than I see that this is escalating towards some kind of confrontation where the squad of 4 has to come together.
Right. Yeah. I just want to say again that I very much appreciate what they did with that scene in the cafe, because like it was kind of funny and cheesy, you know, and all that stuff, but it could have been something where it could have fallen flat, because it's like, okay, they're doing another like one of those cookie cutter scenes that you've seen before, and they had some cool things to make it unique, but the fact that they made Chi-Chan stand up for herself, for one, in her own special way, was really special. And then the fact that they went from there to earthquake, you guys are trapped, you know, under fallen rubble, and now this plot stuff happens. That made that scene be something that felt a lot more like integrated into the story and personal and things like that. And then, of course, that makes me ask all kinds of questions about the opening and the ending.
Right.
Because I could see this being something, Caleb, where they get people into it because it's like, oh yeah, it's this fun show, you know, with this zany premise or whatever.
Okay.
But then something happens that even if it's not like something that like rips your heart out and makes you cry buckets or whatever, something that makes you just be like, whoa, like I didn't expect that from this show.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I'm looking at it from the bit where I see that being possible but not as probable.
Sure. And maybe it is one of those things where, like, when I make predictions, I tend to talk about the things that I'm like, ooh, they could do this, and that would be really cool, even if it might not be the most likely thing to happen.
Right. I think that your view on stories like this is good because you see in how it could be made into a better story.
Right, and that might not be the kind of story that they want to do. If they don't do that, that does not make it a bad thing, because, you know, you do the story that you want to do and you don't do other stories, right? Now it would feel weird if, like, there was some, you know, if the Fast and Furious movies or whatever turned into like some murder mystery or like romance drama or something like that.
We haven't seen any of those really, so we wouldn't know if they do though.
But it would be one of those things where you're like, that's not what I'm here to watch. So
sure.
So if they keep it as you know, zany comedy,
right?
Props to them. Go for it.
Keep it up.
But if they did do this,
that
could be pretty cool too.
I think it's going to turn if anything, into a more magical cross-worlds isekai battle thing rather than because the premise of it is the devil is a part-timer.
Right, yeah.
You still have to have the devil.
McDonald's.
Right. But they could. But also, I'm meaning that the devil has to be the devil again at some point.
Right, yeah, exactly. You don't want to... Kind of like how...
Like what they did in this episode, basically.
Exactly, yep.
But this is an escalation that will continue because of what seems to be going on from the Enta-Ila side of things.
And that's actually really cool, because in the discussion portion for the previous episode, I mentioned how I didn't want it to turn into some Third Rock kind of a thing where where you forget the premise, you know, because
they're not going to do that.
Right. So
this episode proved it 100%.
There you go.
Yeah. So good stuff, guys.
Yes.
All right. If you want to watch the next episode of our reaction to this show, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access. You can also watch full-length reactions there, and all of this, of course, comes with Discord access. You can chat with us about stories or what have you. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.